Welcome to the Road to Chicago series. We'll be traveling from Norfolk, Virginia, home of the only NATO command in North America, Allied Command Transformation, to Chicago, the host city of the NATO summit.
So the ACT sign will go on the front.
Yeah, I guess that's the best place.
Right there. Nobody is in doubt who's coming.
Along the way, we'll be talking to Americans to hear their views on transatlantic relations, the importance of NATO to the US, and some of the big issues of the summit. High on the summit agenda is NATO's Smart Defense Initiative. It's aimed at increasing cooperation and cutting costs. ACT is at the center of that effort.
Smart defense is all about helping nations work more together in order to maintain and develop the capabilities needed to fulfill our missions despite the financial crisis.
General Stefan Abrial is the Supreme Commander of ACT and has been appointed NATO's Special Envoy for Smart Defense. Ahead of the summit, he's been traveling to member states, gathering ideas for smart defense projects.
One is a lesson learned from Libya. We saw that we had difficulties to make sure that nations could replenish their stock of munition. Therefore, we have one project which will address this issue and which will propose a multinational depot and managing of ammunition to make sure that nations have access to a larger stock of mainly precision but all kinds of munitions.
Identifying the lessons learned from previous missions and incorporating them into training and development for the alliance is a major part of ACT's work. Paul Turkettle has perhaps the most fun job of all here in Norfolk. He gets to play with computer games at work.
It's very true. I wish I could actually spend more time on this than I do, but you're exactly right. I get to buy iTouches, Androids and iPads with NATO money because we need to experiment and figure out how we can deploy this for NATO.
Paul is in the driving seat of ACT's Education Technology section. And his computer simulation is part of a smart defense project.
And now I could add, as the instructor, I could add some insurgents to this. I could bring them into a firefight. I could add a counter ID to the situation. I could have a mob throwing rocks. So it puts the commander in a very stressful situation. And that's the whole beauty of immersive training. Eventually you forget we're playing a pretty good video game here. You are under stress. You know, when that mob are running at you throwing rocks, you've got to think, how do I deal with that situation? What do I instruct my convoy to do? Run away, take command, fire. It's a very challenging situation.
15 nations have invested over 15 million euros in this product, but previously none of them have worked together. ACT wants to ensure that all NATO nations have access to such software and develop it together.
We developed online courses and they were basically, if you will, PowerPoint online. They weren't very good, they weren't very attractive. But as we move forward, my 12-year-old son at home plays video games all the time and he's immersed in that training. And NATO and many nations have also figured out we need that immersive training. As the young person grows up and joins the military, they expect this kind of training.
Programs like this can cut the cost of training forces and enable soldiers from different nations to train together via the internet. Another project at ACT is all about improving ways of sharing information in the theatre. Rather than just meeting once or twice a day for a video phone conference, with the use of mobile devices, soldiers and commanders can connect and share information from anywhere in the field.
If you look around this room, you see a lot of static displays. It's very typical years ago to have a command center, lots of screens around, and people can consume the information through these screens. The problem is I have to be in the room, I have to be in front of the screen. With the mobile technology that's around today, I can do this from anywhere on the planet and have access to the same information at the same time.
It's through projects like this that ACT ensures the alliance keeps transforming and adapting to meet future challenges. General Abrial says smart defense is a mindset which the alliance must adopt. In Chicago, he expects a strong political declaration by member states that will give the initiative the necessary political momentum.
My own experience, having been through almost all the capital nations in the past months, is that the response is extremely positive to smart defense. All nations agree to it, understand the philosophy, and take ownership of the initiative. The point is that smart defense is an initiative which can match the global coherent requirements of the alliance and the individual interests of each and every single nation.
Time for us to hit the road. The next stop is Washington, D.C., where we'll meet up with Atlantic Council members as they celebrate transatlantic relations.